Let's be honest. If a woman is truly crazy about you, she almost never says it out loud first. Instead, she leaks it in tiny behaviors, in moments you miss because you're watching what she says instead of how she moves. And here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear. By the time a woman verbally admits how deep her feelings go, her emotions have been building quietly for a long time. Long before you noticed, long before you felt sure. I'm telling you this as someone who understands how women think when they fall hard and how carefully they try to hide it, because desire, real desire, makes women feel vulnerable. And vulnerability feels dangerous, so they protect themselves not by shutting down, but by sending signals that can be denied if you don't respond. The first secret signal is this. She starts adjusting herself around you, not just physically, but emotionally and psychologically. Watch closely. When a woman is crazy about a man, her behavior subtly reorganizes to fit his presence. Her energy changes when you enter a room. Her tone softens. Her body angles toward you even when she's pretending to be casual. She may mirror your posture, your pace of speech, even your emotional rhythm without realizing it. This isn't manipulation, it's subconscious alignment. Her nervous system is trying to sync with yours, and here's the part most men misunderstand. She won't do this loudly. She'll do it quietly, almost invisibly. She'll laugh a little harder at things you say that aren't that funny. She'll pause before answering you, not because she's unsure, but because she cares about how her words land. When a woman is indifferent, she reacts. When she's deeply interested, she calibrates. The second signal is emotional surveillance. When she's crazy about you, she starts tracking your moods even when you don't mention them. She notices when your replies are shorter, when your energy dips, when something is off, and instead of confronting you directly, she adjusts. She gives space, or warmth, or silence. Whatever she believes will keep the connection safe. Men often mistake this for randomness. It's not. It's investment. A woman who doesn't care doesn't monitor emotional shifts. She lives in her own world. But a woman who's emotionally attached, she's constantly asking herself questions she'll never say out loud. Did I say something wrong? Is he pulling away? How do I stay close without chasing? And that inner dialogue shapes her behavior more than her words ever will. The third signal is restraint. This one shocks men. When a woman is crazy about you, she often holds back instead of pushing forward. She limits how often she texts first. She delays responses she desperately wants to send. She pretends she's less affected than she really is. Why? Because she's afraid of scaring you away. Desire makes women strategic, not cold, strategic. She wants you, but she wants to be chosen more, so she manages herself. She edits herself. She plays it cool while her emotions are anything but. And if you're not trained to see this, you'll misread it as low interest when it's actually high emotional risk. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Women don't fall loudly. They fall inward. And the deeper it goes, the quieter they become. When a woman is crazy about you, she doesn't chase you the way movies taught you to expect. She tests safety first. Emotional safety, psychological safety, and she does it in ways so subtle that most men either miss them or sabotage them without realizing it. One of the strongest signals is how she reacts when you don't give her certainty. Watch carefully what happens when you pull back just a little. Not to play games, but simply because life gets busy. A woman who isn't emotionally invested will barely notice, but a woman who's deeply into you, she won't confront you directly. Instead, she'll change her behavior in small, controlled ways. She might become slightly more affectionate when you reconnect, or unusually calm, or unexpectedly warm. That's not indifference, that's emotional regulation. She's trying to manage the anxiety she feels without placing pressure on you, because when a woman is crazy about you, the last thing she wants is to appear needy. She knows neediness kills attraction, so she hides the very thing she feels most. Another powerful signal is how she opens emotional doors, but never walks fully through them first. She'll hint at her past, mention old wounds, reference moments where she felt abandoned, misunderstood, or disappointed by men. But she won't dump everything on you. She's watching, measuring how you respond, not to the story, but to the emotion underneath it. Does he listen without fixing? Does he stay calm without minimizing? Does he hold space without judgment? When a woman is emotionally attached, she wants to know if you're safe enough to trust with her softer parts. And she tests this not with drama, but with vulnerability samples, small disclosures, half-truths, emotional breadcrumbs. If you brush them off, she retreats. If you lean in calmly, she opens more. And here's where many men fail without realizing it. They mistake her emotional openness as friendship energy. It's not. It's an invitation, one she only gives when her feelings are already involved. Another signal is how she protects your image, even when you're not around. A woman who's crazy about you defends you internally. She reframes your flaws in ways that make you easier to love. If you're distant, she tells herself you're stressed. If you're quiet, she assumes you're thinking deeply. This isn't delusion, it's emotional bonding. And when other people criticize you, she softens it. She explains you. She contextualizes you, not because you asked, but because her identity has started to include you. This is why emotionally attached women struggle to leave, even when logic tells them they should. Once a woman emotionally integrates you into her inner narrative, letting go feels like losing a part of herself. Another overlooked signal is her patience. When a woman doesn't care, she's quick to walk away. She has no emotional stake. But when she's deeply interested, her tolerance increases. She gives you more chances, more understanding, more benefit of the doubt. Not because she lacks standards, but because her emotions are invested. She's hoping you'll grow into the version of you she already sees potential in. And finally, pay attention to her silence. When a woman who's emotionally attached goes quiet, it's rarely manipulation. It's protection. She's processing feelings she doesn't feel safe expressing yet. She's deciding whether to risk more or pull back to protect herself. Silence from a woman who cares is heavy. It's thoughtful. It's loaded with emotion she doesn't yet know how to articulate. And if you can sense that, without pressuring her, you position yourself as the man she feels safest falling for. When a woman is crazy about you, her behavior becomes contradictory. She'll act confident one moment and uncertain the next. Warm today, reserved tomorrow. And men often assume this inconsistency means she doesn't know what she wants. That's wrong. It means she knows exactly what she wants, and it scares her. One of the clearest signals is how she reacts to competition. When a woman has no emotional attachment, other women don't register. But when she's deeply into you, her awareness sharpens. She doesn't confront, she observes. She watches how you speak to others, how others respond to you, and most importantly, how you behave when attention isn't centered on her. You'll notice small shifts. Her posture changes when another woman enters the space. Her energy becomes more controlled. She might become quieter, not withdrawn, but alert. She's not jealous in the dramatic sense. She's assessing risk. And here's the key insight. Emotionally invested women don't compete loudly. They position quietly. She'll highlight traits she knows you value. She'll emphasize shared values. She'll subtly remind you of moments you connected. This isn't insecurity. It's attachment strategy. Another signal is how she remembers details you forgot you shared. When a woman is crazy about you, her brain prioritizes information related to you. She remembers things because they're emotionally tagged. The name of your childhood friend, a passing comment about your goals, a story you told months ago when you didn't think anyone was listening. And when she brings these details up later, she does it casually, almost accidentally, because she doesn't want to reveal how closely she's been paying attention. Attention is the currency of desire, and women invest attention where emotion already exists. Another powerful signal is how she gives without keeping score. She supports you emotionally without announcing it, encourages you without demanding reassurance. She shows up in ways that feel natural, not transactional. Because when a woman is emotionally attached, giving feels good. It reinforces the bond she feels inside. Men often misinterpret this as, she's just nice. But niceness without attachment has boundaries. Niceness with attachment stretches further. Watch how she reacts when you're vulnerable. A woman who's indifferent might listen politely. A woman who's crazy about you becomes present. Her voice softens. Her eyes stay on you. She doesn't rush to change the subject. She doesn't minimize. She leans in emotionally. Why? Because your vulnerability validates her feelings. It signals trust, and trust is the bridge she's been quietly hoping to cross. Another contradiction appears in how she flirts. When she's deeply interested, her flirting becomes restrained, less obvious, less playful, more meaningful, longer eye contact, slower responses, deeper conversations. Because surface-level flirting feels too exposed when emotions are real. She doesn't want to be one of many. She wants to be the one who understands you. And here's a signal men rarely recognize: when she creates emotional distance after closeness. This isn't loss of interest, it's emotional self-correction. After opening up, she pulls back to regain control, to check if she revealed too much, to see if you'll step forward without being pushed. If you chase aggressively, she feels overwhelmed. If you disappear completely, she feels unsafe. But if you remain steady, present, without pressure, you become the emotional anchor she's been looking for. Because women don't fall for intensity alone, they fall for stability. And when she's crazy about you, she's quietly asking one question beneath all her behavior. When a woman is crazy about you, her biggest fear isn't rejection, it's exposure, the idea that you'll see how deeply she feels before she knows you feel the same. And that fear shapes one of the most misunderstood signals men experience: emotional push and pull. A woman who's emotionally attached will sometimes create distance right after moments of closeness. Not because she lost interest, but because she felt too much. Intimacy activates risk, and when the emotional intensity rises, her instinct is to regain balance. You'll notice it after deep conversations, after laughter that lingers, after eye contact that lasts a second too long. She suddenly becomes more reserved, more controlled, more neutral. Men often assume this means they did something wrong. In reality, it means they did something right. Another powerful signal is how she seeks your approval without asking for it. She'll casually mention her decisions, her goals, her values, not to impress the world, but to see how you respond. Your reaction matters more than anyone else's. When a woman is crazy about you, your opinion becomes emotionally weighted. If you approve, she relaxes. If you hesitate, she feels it. If you dismiss, she withdraws. This isn't dependency, it's emotional prioritization. Watch how she handles conflict. A woman who doesn't care escalates quickly or disengages completely. But a woman who's deeply invested tries to preserve the connection. She chooses her words carefully. She may downplay her frustration. She may soften her tone even when she's hurt. Not because she's weak, but because the relationship matters. She's thinking long-term, and long-term thinking changes behavior. Another overlooked signal is how she reacts to your boundaries. When a woman is emotionally attached, she respects boundaries that come from self-respect. She may not like them at first, but she adapts. Because deep down, boundaries signal stability, and stability is attractive. If she tests your limits, it's not to break them. It's to understand where she stands, to see if your strength is real or performative. A woman who's crazy about you wants to feel safe leaning into you, not managing you. Pay attention to how she listens when you talk about your future. If she's emotionally invested, her questions shift. They become more thoughtful, more curious, less generic. She doesn't interrupt. She doesn't redirect the conversation back to herself. She wants to understand how she fits into the world you're building, even if she never says it directly. She's mapping compatibility silently. Another signal men miss is emotional consistency. When a woman is deeply into you, her baseline behavior stabilizes. She's less reactive, less dramatic, more grounded. Because emotional attachment doesn't create chaos, it seeks security. Contrary to what many believe, intense feelings don't make women irrational, they make them careful. And finally, notice how she handles your absence. A woman who's indifferent fills the space easily. A woman who's emotionally attached feels the gap, but doesn't panic. She holds the connection internally. She keeps you in mind. She assumes continuity unless proven otherwise. She trusts until given a reason not to. This is the quiet confidence of emotional attachment, not loud declarations, not constant reassurance, but an unspoken belief that what you share matters. And when a woman reaches this stage, she's no longer asking whether she likes you. She's asking whether you're the kind of man who deserves the depth she's holding back. When a woman is crazy about you, her emotions don't just sit in her heart, they start influencing her decisions, quietly, invisibly, in ways she may not even consciously connect to you. This is one of the deepest signals, and the one men almost always overlook. You'll notice she begins making choices with you in mind, even when you're not present. She adjusts her schedule slightly. She delays certain plans. She becomes more flexible where she used to be rigid. Not because she's losing herself, but because emotional attachment naturally reorganizes priorities. A woman who isn't invested protects her independence aggressively. A woman who's deeply into you integrates you mentally into her life without announcing it, and that integration shows up in subtle sacrifices she never names. Another powerful signal is how she reacts to your success and your struggle. When a woman is emotionally attached, your wins feel personal to her. She lights up, not performatively, but genuinely. She celebrates you without competing. She doesn't diminish your achievements or redirect attention back to herself. Your growth excites her because she imagines a shared future where both of you rise. But here's the deeper part. She also reacts strongly to your pain. Not with pity, with concern. She checks in without hovering. She offers support without controlling. She wants to be useful emotionally, not because you asked, but because helping you strengthens the bond she feels inside. Indifference doesn't show up during hardship. Attachment does. Watch how she talks about time. When a woman is crazy about you, her language subtly shifts. She speaks less in short-term terms and more in continuity. We'll see, eventually, down the line. She doesn't promise forever, but she implies ongoing presence. This isn't accidental. Her mind is projecting forward even if her mouth never commits. Another signal is how she handles her own options. A woman who isn't emotionally invested keeps doors wide open. She flirts freely, she entertains attention easily, but when she's deeply into you, something changes. Not out of obligation, but out of emotional focus. Other men feel like noise, distractions. She may still receive attention, but it doesn't land the same. And without announcing exclusivity, she starts disengaging energetically from alternatives. This is emotional monogamy before verbal commitment. Men often miss this because it's quiet. There's no declaration, no announcement, just a subtle narrowing of focus. Pay attention to how she behaves when you disappoint her. A woman who doesn't care detaches quickly. A woman who's emotionally attached becomes introspective. She questions herself before she questions you. She wonders if she misunderstood, if she expected too much, if she's being unfair. This doesn't mean she lacks boundaries. It means her emotions are involved enough to seek understanding before judgment. And finally, notice how she shows trust without demanding proof. She doesn't interrogate. She doesn't monitor obsessively. She gives you emotional credit you haven't explicitly earned yet, not because she's naive, but because attachment creates optimism. She believes in the possibility of you. This is why emotionally attached women are hurt so deeply when betrayed. Not because they didn't see red flags, but because they chose to believe anyway. And if you recognize these signals, understand the responsibility they carry. When a woman is crazy about you, she's not asking for perfection. She's asking for consistency, emotional steadiness, integrity. Because once her feelings reach this level, she's no longer testing attraction. She's testing character. The final truth most men miss is this. When a woman is crazy about you, she doesn't always act like it, but everything she does is tied to hope. Hope that you'll see her, hope that you'll choose her, hope that you'll prove worthy of the emotions she can barely contain. And this hope is what makes her behavior so rich, confusing, and often misread. One of the strongest signals is how she anticipates your needs before you even voice them. She notices when you're tense, tired, or distracted, and she adjusts her energy without making it obvious. She offers small comforts. She gives subtle reassurances. She crafts moments that make you feel understood without you asking. Men often think this is mere kindness. It's not. It's emotional attunement, and it's powered by deep attachment. Another sign is how she seeks emotional alignment. She subtly mirrors your language, your humor, even your values, not consciously, but naturally. When she laughs at your jokes, even the bad ones, it's not flattery, it's connection. When she emphasizes common goals or opinions, she's silently reinforcing the bond she's building internally. She's coding herself into your world without asking permission. Watch how she navigates moments of uncertainty with you. She doesn't demand clarity instantly. She observes, she tests, she gauges your reactions. She measures your consistency, not to manipulate, but to understand if you're someone she can rely on emotionally. If she feels safe, her warmth becomes undeniable. If she senses instability, she pulls back, not out of disinterest, but to protect her vulnerability. Another subtle signal is how she invests in your personal growth. She encourages you, celebrates your wins, and supports your ambitions. She doesn't do this for attention. She does it because she's emotionally tied to your future, your happiness, and your sense of self. Your growth validates her feelings, and she invests quietly, knowing that your success strengthens her connection to you. Her vulnerability is a major indicator. A woman deeply into you shares thoughts she shares with almost no one. Small confessions, fears, and dreams emerge in fragments. She doesn't dump her life all at once, but she leaks pieces. Every small disclosure is a test of safety and a silent plea for intimacy. The deeper her feelings, the more controlled her sharing, because risk and desire are tangled together. Finally, she signals commitment without saying it. Through actions, subtle adjustments, emotional patience, and focused attention, she creates a gravitational pull around you. She doesn't need to declare her attachment with words because her behavior screams it. And the most important truth, a woman this invested is watching your character, not just your charm. She wants to know if you can match the emotional depth she's giving freely, if you can handle her without judgment, and if you're worthy of her hope. So here's the challenge I want to leave you with. Look at your relationships. Look at the woman in your life. Can you identify these signals? And more importantly, are you someone capable of holding up to the depth she's offering? Think about it. Write it in the comments and answer this personal equation for yourself. If a woman invests 100% emotionally into a man, how much are you investing back? And is it enough to match her depth? Like this video if this opened your eyes, subscribe for more truths about female psychology, and share it with a friend who needs to see this. The signals are there. It's up to you to notice.